Hi, and welcome back. I'm Phoebe, and I'm here with Vy Banh. I'm so glad you're listening in. So I'm interested, Vy, in knowing, you were telling us a little bit about getting ready to open the restaurant, the next restaurant that was slated to be open, and then Katrina happened. So how can you tell me just a little bit about that journey and how you kept it together, especially as a family,
Yeah, absolutely.
relocating to that area?
Well, it was our normal weekend. It was Labor Day weekend. We were running our restaurant just like normal. And growing up in New Orleans, you watch the news and you see hurricanes. I mean, every year we evacuate for hurricanes.
Mm-hmm.
Every year. It's just mandatory. And I know my family and I, we always said, even from when we were little, is if anything big or small comes into the Gulf of Mexico, we're out of here first. And so we have an evacuation plan where I would just book a hotel in Houston. We'll leave for the weekend or whatever day that they said we need to be out of New Orleans, and we'll be back. Well, this time was different. We told our employees, we'll see you guys on Monday. My employees were like, okay, well, what about our paychecks? And do we go to work on Monday? And, they were asking, and I said, I'll page everybody, or I'll call you on your cell phone, and we'll keep in touch. We'll see. I mean, we saw it was going to be big.
Mm-hmm.
So I closed up the restaurant, all the restaurants, and we drove to Houston.
Wow.
A whole family. And, I mean, we stayed at nice hotels because we thought it was just for the weekend.
You thought it was going to be just fun for them.
And so, I was literally shopping around Houston, the Galleria, shopping with my family, eating dinner, waiting for the hurricane to pass. I have one employee that stayed back, and she lives in the heart of New Orleans, so where it was hit the hardest. I kept in touch with her via telephone, and even to the point where when the hurricane passed us, I called her, made sure she was okay. And she said, I'm fine. Everything's fine. There's about a foot of water. Didn't get to the inside. We're fine. We're all okay. I said, okay, good. And then that night I remember watching TV, and then that's when everything changed. I still get emotional talking about it, but it's like everything changes completely.
Mm-hmm.
And
but you were with your family.
Yeah, we were all together.
Were you able to get back before?
Well, we were watching the news, and they said we're not sure when people can come back in. And at this point, I lost contact with my employee, and that literally overnight, everything flooded, within hours. So it flooded all the way up to the roof of some of our buildings. My sister was pregnant at the time. She was very pregnant. She was due any day. My parents were like, we can't stay in Houston. It's chaotic. It was chaotic. Everybody that lived on the coastline moved inland to Houston. Traffic was horrendous. Overnight, we thought as a family, we need to go somewhere, because not only did they raise the rate of the hotels, they raised it to the point where it was impossible to stay there. My mom's sister lives in Lancaster, and she said, why don't you guys come up here? You can stay as long as you need to. She's widowed, so she has a 3-bedroom house and a fully finished basement. So all of us just caravanned up here, 20 of us.
Wow.
And we set up shelter at her house. We literally did. I mean, and we didn't know how long we were going to stay in Lancaster, but we just knew that we had to stay together. My family invested every penny that we had into New Orleans. Every investment that we've made, every penny into New Orleans. And that's one big mistake that we all learned from is do not put all your eggs in one basket.
But how could you ever?
Right.
How could you ever even guess in your wildest dreams that would happen?
Yeah, we would never. Yeah. Never.
Did you ever connect with that last employee that
I did.
stayed?
Oh, I did.
So she made it. She survived.
Her story is amazing.
Okay.
I shouldn't even be telling this story, but her story is amazing. She had to get out on a raft and save the lady next door. She made a raft with empty water bottles
Oh my
just to get
gosh.
out.
Yeah.
And her dog.
Wow.
Yeah.
I feel like this could be like a longer story.
Oh, yeah.
Like
It's just amazing.
Like even just hearing like how you even went back.
See,
what
we're
did you
lucky
even
though.
salvage?
We're lucky that we have a plan to leave before any of this could happen.
Mm-hmm.
Just as a family,
it sounds like it's part of the family like unit. Like it's part of the,
we don't want to, like I could foresee this happening, but never thought it would ever happen. I mean, I lived in New Orleans for 30 something years, and you know, like you see the wind damage and everything, but never thought that this would happen to us and to my parents for the second time.
Right. Wow.
Yeah. But my mom and dad, they're like, no, we're all going to come up here together and we're going to stay here.
Yes. So
and we're like in our 30s. We're all married with kids. Well, I don't have any kids, but you know, like we're adults, but yet my mom and dad are like, you know what? We're going to stay here.
They're camping now, like for a long term.
Yeah. And I don't know. It's weird. They always dreamt of like retiring in Pennsylvania.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. Well, so here they are, like in southeastern PA, full of Amish country farm fields.
They're happy.
And they love it.
They love it.
Okay. So you don't have children.
I don't.
But I know you do so much work in your restaurant because I know you say you do a lot of the marketing on your own. Like I love to follow you on Instagram and I love to see what you're doing on Facebook because I love to see like the food that you're putting together. But what else are you doing to help keep the restaurant moving? Like, are you love the dishes are yours, and how do you include your family in this process?
You know what? We wouldn't be successful if it wasn't for every key family member that's involved in the business. Like, for me, every Tuesday I go and buy all our vegetables at Roots.
You go down to Roots?
Yes.
Oh, wait, how do you say it? Because
Roots.
Roots?
Roots.
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 Okay, Roots.
So
okay.
I go from the time we first opened to now, I go and I pick everything.
Okay.
Not a lot of people know that, but I wake up so early in the morning before we
best.
open. Yeah. And I, you know, like whatever's local, I get. Whatever we can't get local, then, you know, we have to source it elsewhere. But whatever that we can get local, we get. And I go and I pick and I choose and I give back what I don't want or what I don't think is good enough. But yeah, and I've been doing that for the last 8 years now.
Okay. That's a lot of work.
It is.
It's a lot of dedication.
It is. But you know what? We save money. I get to be picky on what I want. And the farmers and the people that bring all the stuff out, they know me now.
Right.
And they know what I'm looking for. They know what I need. And yeah, it's easy now.
So a lot of times when people come into the restaurant, do they always get what is familiar to them, like the pho? That's what I always have.
I think
or
nowadays.
Would you encourage people to try that's different?
You know what? It's amazing because when I opened up in Lancaster, I was so afraid that people were not going to be open to the cuisine because it's so different. But I was excited to introduce it. I remember painting and renovating the space that we are on Lidditz Pike, and I was like looking out the window at night, and it was like dead. The street's dead. Our next door neighbor, Boston Market, I would look over there, and I'm like, oh gosh, there's no customers. So I was really scared, and you know, like it was a do or die situation for my family and I. We had whatever money that we had saved, we wanted to make sure that this was going to work, and it had to work. Yeah.
Okay.
So.
Wow. So it was like a big risk, but you had family that was there to always support you.
Yeah, and everybody, my sister, she's like very organized. She doesn't help me with the marketing, but she gives me the ideas on how to put it together. My brother-in-law, he's like the outside guy. I mean, like he has so many customers that love him.
That come just to see him.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he runs the front of the house. My husband runs the back of the house, and he's a chef. And my mom and dad, they're even though they're not.
Are they in there sometimes?
Sometimes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You'll see them peek the next time.
Yeah, you'll see them come in and out. And then my aunt, the one that we actually stayed with, she works 2 days a week at the restaurant just to be there.
Okay.
Yeah,
well,
she doesn't have to work, but she still wants to be there.
And that's nice that you can work together as a family and in a space like that. It's not a big space, but in a space like that and still be friends.
Yeah.
But I wanted to ask, especially now, you said your husband does a lot of the chef work.
Right.
About the beautiful macaroons that you make. I didn't know.
Thank you.
Do you make them or does your husband make them?
No, I make them.
Okay. Can you tell me like a little bit about the macaroons? And I know that you brought some that were packaged. I can't wait to try some.
Well, the ones that I brought today is from it's for my campaign. It's for the Leukemia Lymphoma Society.
Okay.
And how I got involved was because, you know, like I felt like at this point in our career and at the restaurant, I mean, like when we moved here, when we opened up, Lancaster just welcomed us with open arms, and everybody here is just so supportive. I can't even put it in words how supportive they were. And so like we're at a point in our business where we wanted to give back somehow. And we were approached by the Leukemia Lymphoma Society to run for Women of the Year.
Okay.
And I couldn't say no, one, because my grandmother passed away in 2007 from leukemia. And two, I just feel like it's just the right time to do something where I can make a difference and give back to the Lancaster chapter. Yeah, absolutely. And that's where this comes in. I make the macaroons every day.
They're beautiful.
Thank you. And they're labor intensive. It's a labor of love. And sometimes I think to myself, I'm crazy for even starting because you can't stop now.
Yes.
It's big. But this particular box I make is the proceeds are going to go to towards my campaign
to benefit the leukemia
lymphoma society.
And that runs through what were
that
the dates?
runs through May 15th.
Okay.
It was a 10-week campaign, and we're halfway through.
Okay.
Almost now.
So, well, that's really interesting, and I think it's a great way to show support, especially if you have the opportunity to give back. It's a really beautiful
a lot
thing
of people
that you're
don't
doing,
know
so.
that the French colonized Vietnam for almost 100 years. Some will say more than that, but like the Vietnamese cuisine is very much influenced by the French cuisine, as well as our language. And so like the sandwiches and just a lot of our sauces and everything, the noodle soups, it's very much French influenced.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's really, I didn't know that. I have to admit, like, I did not know that. I didn't know. There's so much more I need to know and learn about food. So that's actually really interesting.
Yes.
I think your story is fascinating. I wish we had more time, but if there was something that you could share that would inspire our listeners to do or to become something better, like what do you think that would be? If you can inspire or light a fire in someone, or maybe offer some kind of hope about something in particular.
I just think if you believe in your product and like you have a good support system, utilize that and go forward. And like I said, we weren't sure how Lancaster would receive us, but I swear to you, the day that we opened our doors, we had a line out the door, and it still continued 8 years later. So you can make it work anywhere, even in Lancaster, because we weren't sure. New Orleans is a big eating community, and to get people in to eat there is not hard. But in Lancaster, it's Dutch County and just meat and potatoes. But it's changed a lot. Yeah. And I like to think that we helped trigger that to open people's minds about trying different cuisines. And not just Vietnamese cuisine, just every, there's a lot of restaurants opening up downtown. And it's just open up your heart, open up your mind, and open up your taste palettes.
Yes, I love
try
that.
it. Yeah.
And all with like the supportive family. And family is so important.
Exactly.
So that's wonderful. I'm so glad you came. And
Thank you for having me.
So make sure to tune in, subscribe online to the People Chronicles, and we look forward to having you listen in next time.